I never thought moving into a peaceful, gated community would nearly cost my dog his life, but the homeowners association had other plans, and they didn't care who they hurt. What started as a petty complaint turned into a fight for justice. And trust me, by the end of this, I wasn't the one who walked away embarrassed. The HOA was. Let me tell you exactly how it happened. I had just landed a new job, and things were finally falling into place. After saving up for years, I bought a quiet, comfortable house in what people described as the perfect suburban neighborhood. It was clean, quiet, well-maintained, and full of smiling families, picket fences, and neat lawns. But the biggest selling point? They allowed pets. That was everything to me because I had a dog, Milo. A 5-year-old rescue golden retriever with a gentle soul and a goofy personality. He had been by my side through tough times. He was more than a pet. He was my family. I asked the realtor about the pet policies before I signed anything, and she reassured me with that same vague line I'd hear again later. As long as your pet isn't dangerous or a nuisance, there's nothing to worry about. So I signed the papers, moved in, and settled into the dream life I had worked so hard for. I set up Milo's dog bed on the back patio. He loved lying in the sun, chewing his toys, and watching birds. Everything felt perfect, at least for the first 3 weeks. One Thursday morning, I found a note taped to my front door. No envelope, just a printed piece of paper, cold and formal. It read, "Your dog's barking is disruptive to the neighborhood. This is your first official warning." HOA. I stood there confused. Milo barely barked. I worked from home, so I would have heard him. And he was calm by nature. He didn't bark at passing cars or people. He barely barked at all. I thought it was a misunderstanding. Maybe another dog in the neighborhood was causing trouble, and they got the house numbers mixed up. I didn't think much of it. That was my mistake. A week later, there was another note. This one was more serious. You have failed to correct your dog's behavior. A second complaint has been filed. Continued violations may result in fines or further action, including forced removal of the animal. Forced removal? I felt my stomach drop. I wasn't just upset, I was furious. No one had spoken to me directly. No evidence. No phone call. Just anonymous complaints and threats. So I went to the HOA office the next day. I walked in calmly and asked for clarification. Who was filing the complaints? What exactly was Milo doing? Could I see any evidence? They told me, "We've received multiple complaints from neighbors. We don't need to provide evidence. It's a noise disturbance issue." I asked again who the neighbors were. They refused to answer. They wouldn't let me see any reports. It was all vague, all hidden. I left the office with a knot in my chest. Something felt off. I knew Milo wasn't barking constantly. I was home all day. I'd know. So I decided to find out the truth myself. That night, I installed 3 security cameras. One in the backyard, one pointing at the side fence, and one aimed at the street out front. I wanted full coverage. If Milo really was barking excessively, I'd see it, and I'd address it. A few days passed. Then came the third notice. This time, the tone had changed completely. Due to repeated complaints and failure to resolve the issue, we are considering legal action. Under HOA regulations, continued violations may result in the removal and euthanization of the offending animal if deemed a public nuisance. I read it twice. Euthanization. They were threatening to kill my dog. That was the moment everything shifted. I was no longer just defending myself. I was fighting for Milo's life. That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart was pounding with anger. Not fear, anger. I knew my dog. I knew his behavior. I had done everything right. And these people, hiding behind anonymous complaints, were trying to take him from me. So I sat down and reviewed all the footage from the security cameras. And that's when I found it. On the camera pointed at the side fence, I saw a man walking past our yard at around 7:45 in the morning. He stopped, looked around. Then he banged on my fence, hard, 3 times with a metal cane. Milo, naturally startled, barked. This happened several days in a row. The man, someone I recognized vaguely from HOA meetings, was intentionally provoking my dog and then complaining about the barking he caused. I had timestamps, video, Clear footage of everything. It wasn't just harassment. It was a setup. I printed the screenshots. I put the video on a flash drive. And I went back to the HOA. They didn't want to see me at first. Said I had to submit complaints in writing. I told them I had video proof of someone deliberately provoking my dog and filing false complaints. That got their attention. They agreed to a short meeting. I walked into that boardroom with a mix of nerves and fury. I played the footage, showed them the screenshots, explained what was happening. The room was dead silent. No one apologized. No one took responsibility. They simply said, "We'll review this and get back to you." They never did. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. That evening, I posted footage online. I shared it on Reddit, on a local neighborhood app, and in a Facebook group for local homeowners. I titled it, "HOA threatens to kill my dog based on false complaints. Here's the proof." Within hours, it blew up. Hundreds of comments, thousands of views. People were furious. Pet lovers, families, lawyers, reporters. The outrage was instant. In less than 2 days, a local news station contacted me. They wanted to cover the story. The HOA was now in the spotlight, and it wasn't a flattering one. Under the pressure of public attention, the HOA scheduled an emergency board meeting and opened it to the public. I attended, along with dozens of neighbors. People I had never even spoken to stood up and shared their own stories. One woman said the same board member banging on my fence once tried to force her to remove her elderly cat for roaming too freely in the backyard. Another guy had been fined for having a flag that was too colorful. Turns out, this wasn't about barking. The HOA had been abusing their power for years. But now everyone knew. Within a month, major changes happened. The HOA president resigned. The man caught on camera harassing Milo was removed from the board. A new policy was introduced requiring actual, verifiable evidence before any pet-related complaint could be enforced. And finally, they issued a formal written apology to me and to Milo. They even offered to waive my HOA dues for a year. I declined. I didn't do this for compensation. I did it because I refused to let them bully me and threaten the life of my dog. Today, Milo is happy and healthy. He still lounges in the sun and chases butterflies. But now, when we go for walks around the neighborhood, people wave at him. Kids ask to pet him. Someone even gave him a little cape that says, "HOA Survivor." We're still in the same house, but something changed. The community feels stronger. People are more connected, because when you expose injustice, you remind others that they're not alone. And when you speak up, you force the people in power to finally face the truth. I never imagined I'd have to fight this hard just to protect my dog. But if you take one thing away from this story, let it be this: silence protects bullies. Speaking up exposes them. And sometimes the smallest voice, the bark of a loyal dog, is the one that deserves the loudest defense. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories that prove why standing up matters. And leave a comment if you've ever dealt with an HOA horror story, or if you just want to say hi to Milo. Thanks for listening. And remember, never mess with someone's dog. You just might regret it.